Hi friends, I am extremely excited but very late to the party. Today I'm going to see Bodies. This film is just coming out this week in Australia, so that's why I'm so late to the game, but I'm really excited. I've heard mixed reactions about this one. This is a comedy horror thriller about a bunch of 20-year-olds that go partying in a remote family mansion when a fun game turns deadly. I have seen the trailer a little bit because they played it so much in theaters here because we've had such a long lead up to it, and it did premiere about a month ago in Melbourne at a film festival, but they didn't have their wide release until this week, and I'm lucky enough to go see an event screening of it, even though it's been out for a month in most countries. So I believe the film is about Gen Zers, and they use a lot of language that they use, a lot of slang, and it's kind of like tied up in that meta comedy. And I'm excited for that because I really do like that kind of thing, and I think it will just be a really fun and fresh movie, not really taking itself seriously, which I think is kind of the point. But I'm excited to see what the game is that they play in the house. I believe the game is probably called Bodies, and see how that all fits in. Basically the trailer that I've seen a couple of times and tried not to look directly at the screen, but I've heard things happening. It seems like it has a lot of silly one-liners and it's a very self-aware film, so I'm just gonna go and have fun. I will be doing this spoiler-free reaction review, but then at the end I probably will put spoilers in if there's things to spoil. Sometimes when you see the film, you don't really have to talk about the reveal, but we'll see what happens. Let's go see Bodies. I hate the title. I hate saying it 3 times. Let's go. That feeling when you're finally seeing a horror movie you've waited for so long to see. By the way, if you don't know, me and Pete Davidson, BFFs. I went shopping once and he was in the same store at the same time. Like, that's what best friends do, I'm just saying. Are they even showing up anymore? They gave us glow sticks, which are very fitting to the movie. But I think they've lost all their glow from being on during the whole movie. Anyway, hi friends! I just got back from watching Bodies. That's the last time I'll say it 3 times in a row. I feel like Bloody Mary, she's gonna come and get ya. But that's not what this movie's about. I had a lot of fun. But I do have like a lot of things to talk about with this movie. It is not for everyone. I went and saw it with my friend Scott and also my friend Rob, and Rob loved it, Scott hated it. But it makes a lot of sense because first off, we didn't even talk about how this is an A24 film, and A24 films are not for everybody. And I knew that because of like the tongue-in-cheek kind of, I say it's Gen Z humor, but I guess like it's really hard to I mean, it's not like internet humor because like all ages are on the internet, but you know, like the buzzwords, it's really hard for a lot of people to get into that. Some people just don't like it, you know, and I liked the self-awareness of the film. But as all A24 films, the reason I love A24 so much isn't just because it's like art house and like cool and slick, it's because it's not made for everyone, and they have like the artistic expression. They're allowed to go wherever they want to go and make it for a very niche audience, and that's why it's even more special when they do horror, because horror is already a niche audience, and to like make that even nicher means that sure, it's not made for everyone, but it's made with such conviction and in such a certain direction that for some people it will speak really loudly, but unfortunately, because of that, it alienates a lot of its audience or like turns them off it. But it's very hit and miss is what I'm trying to say in plain language. But bodies. Fuck, I did say it again. The movie is about a bunch of friends who reunite at one of their parents' houses. I believe they're meant to be in like their 20s, graduated college, but it really gives me like flashbacks to late teens, like 18, 19. But I mean, I'm from a different decade. And they come together, but they all have kind of like a dark kind of history with each other. And there's a lot of tension going on. And then they play this game where there is meant to be like a murderer. Don't worry, I'm not spoiling anything. I will get into spoilers though, but later, and I will give you fair warning because I do actually want to talk about that. I didn't realize what I'm about to say, which is not a spoiler, but I did not realize that this was like a murder mystery. Stupid. I just thought it was like a slasher, but when you think about it, it makes sense. So they play this game where there's a murderer and then they find someone dead in their house. So it is very tongue-in-cheek. The acting, what I loved about it is the casting is phenomenal. Pete Davidson was so good, and it felt like, you know, to a degree, they were so convincing as their characters that I wonder how much improv was actually given to them, because they were so relaxed around each other. Everyone had really good chemistry. And I just think that this film, like, my favorite thing about it is the way they casted it. My favorite character was played by Rachel Sennott, who did Shiva Baby. And she was just hilarious. Again, very like tongue-in-cheek, her dialogue. She was like switching up so much, and she was just the epitome, just like a walking cliche of, you know, some types you find online. And I just thought it was really funny. And I think that that's the thing with this movie. You kind of just have to go along with it for the fun. And if you're someone who gets like really wound up by characters' decisions and what they're doing, and, you know, you really yell at the screen, that's totally fine. But you kind of have to like just enjoy the process. It's a film that is just purely for fun. It's not meant to be serious at all. It's meant to be making fun of people. So if you go in with that mindset, or if that's something that you like, I think you will really appreciate it. And in saying that, I actually thought it was not only was it casted really well, it looked amazing. I think that they played on the blue tones of like the shadows, which I love that kind of look. But also the camera work, it was handheld, not found footage, just the way that it was shot. But when there was like struggles between the characters and all that, it went out of focus. You felt like someone in the house and you were like part of the action. But it was just really pretty the way they put it together, and really natural. Just like how the chemistry between the characters and the actors was really natural. I felt like the way it was set up and framed, it wasn't trying to be overly like cinematic and tried to shoot it in a way that's, you know, subliminal messages or creeping in the corner while someone's doing something. You're just watching it unfold in plain sight and really close. And I felt like it worked really well with the style of film. It was like pretty raw and real in a way. It's interesting because it's kind of like that lovely polished rawness that some slice of life kind of films have, but obviously this is not slice of life. So the film is like a whodunit murder mystery, where they definitely go against everything you tell them. You know, you scream at them at the cinema to tell them not to do, people split up, all that good stuff. But when you take into consideration that the characters in this film, most of them are idiots, you like, what else do you expect? So you really can't go, I mean, I'm just going to stress again, you cannot go into this film expecting these characters to act a certain way that you would. You've just got to, if you love to like kind of not hate watch, but just like watch a lot of chaos, yeah, this is the film for you. If you like a lot of chaotic energy, this one has got you covered. Also, to add to the camera work, the sound in this movie obviously used a lot of like really punchy music. We've got Azealia Banks, Tiger, Shy Girl, just, I mean, some classics. Kind of the Azealia Banks is 212, so it's a little bit of like an older song, but something that really hype you up and kind of get you into, I guess, the mind frame of these kids who are in this house getting messed up, of a lack of a better term. So yeah, it's a lot of chaotic energy. And actually the cinema we went and saw it in, a lot of people were talking during the film, which sometimes happens at these premieres, but it kind of went with the film. Like, it wasn't too much of an issue. It's the same thing as the glow sticks. Everyone put their glow sticks away, but it wasn't too much of an issue because the film, like, people are screaming in the back while other people are having conversations. Like, as I said, it is like chaos at its finest. So it kind of went with the theme. theme, and although it does have some very quiet, like, scary moments, it is a slasher. People quieted down when that happened, but I don't know, it's like able to whip back out. And as much as you don't like these characters, I was really glued to the mystery because I was trying to figure out who the killer is, and that's what I love about whodunit. You, like, usually you get a straightforward answer, and in this one it's pretty thrilling. I will say I jumped all over the place, but it is just primarily a fun movie, and yeah, it has jump scares. Yes, you know, people are dying. There's bloody moments. This movie has like I wouldn't say a lot of gore, but a lot of blood. And it's like kind of more realistic in a way. So as much as it's meant to be tongue-in-cheek, it is kind of realistic, which I thought was interesting. It doesn't go for like the whole slapstick kind of kill. Overall, I really enjoy this movie. I think that it's not for everyone. If characters that are written to make fun of themselves or make fun of like one point of society or like laugh at ourselves, then it probably will not be for you, especially if you don't like this kind of like younger generation internet humor. It's not for everybody, but that's what I like about seeing these films, especially in the cinema, that they're being made, and films that are extremely niche are being made for people. By the end of it, I realized how simple it was, and it's not like a deep movie at all, and it's just for fun. Like, it's just for fun, nothing else. As a recommendation to people who have not seen the film, I don't think you have to see it at the cinema. It is good to watch it at night because it is quite a dark movie, but I would recommend watching it with friends because it's like a fun movie, and I think that it would work better when there's a little bit of laughter and energy in the room. By yourself, it probably wouldn't be as fun, I don't think. I'm so used to going to a horror movie and seeing multiple layers, deep thoughts. It was really nice just to go and enjoy myself and laugh along and just like try and figure out the mystery. So for that, I'm actually going to give it a 7 out of 10. And for originality, the way it has been done, like a whodunit like this has been done before, but obviously it's like kind of a different stylization and a lot of different characters for this kind of whodunit. The way I'd probably describe this movie is like a whodunit murder mystery, but with Gen Z. And yeah, I don't know if that's very original. Those pairings are a little bit original, but it's not an original idea. So probably like a 4 out of 10. And for scare, I was jumping around, but it's like, you know, those jump scares that really get you in the moment. But it's not like you're really scared of someone jumping out, but it's not like you're scared, shivering. We've done that whole scare score. I did like a tier scare list when we talked about films and what kind of scare they are. And this one is like jump scare, purely popcorn horror, where you're getting scared in the moment, but it passes, or you're scared when a character's going through a dark hallway. And it did kind of get me. I'm going to give it a 6. Yeah, a 6 I think is fair. I think I got really like immersed into it. That's what scared me the most. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you thought about Bodies. Let me know down below. And the film will be out this week at cinemas in Australia. But let's get into some spoilers. I can't believe it. The thing is about this film, yeah, I did not pick that. I thought that the killer, and sorry, if you do watch this, you will not understand it unless you've seen the movie. So don't watch this part unless you've seen the movie. I've given you fair warning. I really thought the killer was Emma because the whole, like, when they were talking about how Emma acts when she's guilty, that's exactly what she did. She went quiet, she found a quiet place, but then also she followed along with what everyone else was saying, and she like followed them along with a knife, and that's when I thought, oh, she's acting exactly how they said she would. But when you realize, like, I mean, after you see the ending, and when you realize that she's not the person who's the killer, you kind of realize they're playing into exactly what people are calling them. And it was like very alarming how mean these girls were to each other. And that's why I felt like they were really high school, because I've never, like, I don't know, maybe I didn't have friends like that in my like 20s, but holy crap, these girls were so mean to each other. But that's what people in friendship groups, that's like what happens. And I actually thought it was quite realistic, but obviously the language is very different. I thought it was like hilarious, tongue-in-cheek, making fun of everyone, especially like the part when she said she was an ally. That's why I loved her character so much. Alice, I think that was her character. She was so funny, and I was so sad when she died. But there's a lot of ridiculousness going on in this movie with people waving around guns. And when B goes back into the house after being in the car, Obviously, she should have just locked the doors and slept there. Like, there was a lot of things going on that made no sense. At that same time, like, we didn't know who the killer was, and we also knew that these people were being idiots. So, and they were also like stoned, and you know what I mean? Like, they were on a lot of stuff. So it'd be really hard to tell where their mind was at that point. But I did not pick the ending. I did not get it. I thought maybe they were faking to like teach someone a lesson. But I have to say, we had the spokesperson for Sony come out and chat at the start of the movie, and she said there's a big twist. I didn't know there was going to be a big twist. I mean, I should in a murder mystery. It's not really giving away anything, but I didn't really hint to it that's why I didn't hint to it in the spoiler-free section. I just kind of talked about how there was like a murderer, obviously, which there is technically. It is a whodunit. But when you saw that at the end, like that he did it to himself, it was so funny. It just showed that the film was just made to be fun and to make fun of itself. And it's very self-aware. And I can understand, I saw a lot of people weren't sure about the ending, and I can understand that. They might have felt let down because they thought that the film was like coming to a point or coming to a character arc or something like that. But for me, I kind of took it as tongue-in-cheek, and we were all laughing along in the cinema the whole way. And as soon as I saw him pick up that like sword machete thing at the end, I'm like, Pete, no! I thought it was really funny. The whole cinema was laughing. I thought it was hilarious. And I loved the fact they set it up so well at the start. And after it kind of hits you what's happening and what happened to him and how it was all for nothing, it really hit me how much this film is just for fun. It's just for the laughs. And if people don't like and don't have that same sense of humor, it's not going to work for them at all. And that's when I kind of realized a lot of people might not like this movie, to be honest, because of the ending. And I want to know if that's correct. I think a lot of us, especially with A24, we feel like we're going into a movie where we have to think about layers, and this movie, as soon as you see the end, it takes it away. And as soon as it's like a TikTok challenge, like, well, I guess it wasn't a challenge what he was doing, but it was like a TikTok song that was popular through TikTok, and it had a little bit to do with TikTok. I could tell it would like really turn people off, but I'm here for that kind of fun. I like that sense of humor. So for me, it worked, and it was a cool wrap up where I was trying to guess so much of it, and it was all about like pointing the finger. When you point your finger at someone else, four's pointing back at you. Name that movie. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie, and the twist I thought was really fun, but I would love to hear what you think about the twist down below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I had a lot of fun. I got my glow sticks. I'm going to go home and have a rave or something, or really, I'm just going to have a cup of tea and go to bed. But I'm so happy I got to finally see this in the cinema, and I really enjoyed seeing it at the cinema. But thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I am back at the cinema next week as well, so get excited because there's another horror movie coming out. I hope you're all very well. Stay safe and stay spooky. Bye, friends.